Hold on, hold on, hold on. Looks like we've made some progress, albeit not a whole lot, but enough progress for me to get on here really, really quick and kind of go over what I see. I was clicking CNN, getting the live updates. And what do I see? What do I see? Now, I had reported to you all earlier that there was some issues with a juror, and that was yesterday. So today, the jury has alerted the courts that they have reached a verdict on some of the counts. They've reached a verdict on count 2, 3, 4, and 5. And they're saying that they're unable to reach a verdict on count 1, as we have jurors that are unpersuadable with unpersuadable opinions on both sides. So the prosecution and the defense both have come in. Sean Diddy Combs is sitting down at the table. And both prosecution and the defense want the judge to push the jury to continue deliberating. Okay. It says here, and I'm reading from CNN, that both the prosecution and defense want the judge to push the jury to continue deliberating. Sean Diddy Combs' attorney, Mark Agnifilo, says that the defense would like the judge to bring out the jury to instruct them to continue deliberating. They are going to work on the wording of that instruction. So, now let me see if I can go and find this thing really quickly for y'all. Give me one moment. Interesting. So we're going to play, let's predict what they talking about over here. Let's see. I know where to go find it. So I'm going to pull up the verdicts clip. A lot of stuff's going on. Just give me 1 second. I need to pull it up. I'm pulling it up from my fave. Here we go. All right, let me share this screen really quickly. A lot going on, y'all. So here is a copy of the verdict slips. So they're saying, oh, this is the jury charge. This is not what I want. Give me one moment. I apologize. All right. So let me see if I can make this bigger. And I hope you can see it. Let me see if I can make it just a tad bigger. No. All right. So here is the verdict slip. So it says count 1. Do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty? If and only if you find the defendant guilty of count 1, which types of racketeering acts do you unanimously find were involved in the offense? And it lists them. Acts involving the kidnapping, acts involving the arson, acts involving the bribery, acts involving the witness tampering, acts involving the forced labor, acts involving sex trafficking, acts involving transportation for the purposes of prostitution, acts involving drug distribution. And it asks you to prove or not prove them. And it says here, if and only if you find the defendant guilty of count 1, did the pattern of racketeering activity include the X trafficking of Cassandra Ventura? You put yes or no or yes. If and only if you find the defendant guilty of count 1, did the pattern of racketeering activity include the X trafficking of Jane? And you say no or yes, which is interesting because I don't know why they would separate that out here, knowing that they have a count 2 that has that and have a count 3. So I guess they're figuring that if you find that, then you automatically have to do guilty on the other two counts. Is that what I'm looking at? Is that what you all are looking at? And as we read this, when it says, if and only if you find the defendant guilty of count one, did the pattern of racketeering activity include the trafficking of Cassandra Ventura? Because remember, up here at the top, I don't know if you can see my mouse moving across up here, but it says acts involving trafficking and acts involving transportation of that. So if you prove those things, they want to know what was proved. So if they have come back and said, and again, I am reading off of CNN. It says the jury sent a note at 4:05 p.m., which was probably about 45 minutes ago, that said, we have reached a verdict on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. We are unable to reach a verdict on count 1 as we have jurors with unpersuadable opinions on both sides. So what do we think that means? So do you think they have guilty verdicts on 2, 3, 4, and 5? And they're trying to push those two predicate acts? Because if they have a guilty on 2, 3, 4, and 5, then there's going to be a guilty on count 1. But they're saying we are unable to reach a verdict on count 1 as we have jurors with unpersuadable opinions on both sides. So they're arguing over this RICO charge. They are really arguing over that racketeering charge. Because again, let's get back to the way the document is reading. The way the way this document is reading, that if they said that if the jury has found him guilty of the trafficking and the transportation of the for purposes of prostitution under the RICO Act, that would automatically make count 2, 3, 4, and 5. They would automatically be guilty on those counts. So, not sure where they're going. So I'm wondering, what are they, this is fascinating to me. What are they going back and forth about? Because again, if they find him guilty of count 2, count 3, count 4, and count 5, then those two acts are the predicate acts under the RICO charge. So he would be guilty. This is interesting. This is interesting. Are they looking back and forth in regards to the other charges? The kidnapping, the arson, the bribery, the witness tampering, the forced labor, the trafficking? Wonder what they're doing. I'm just waiting to see if there's any other update. Let's do this. Let's go to Inner City. Give me one moment. Let me get over in here to Inner City Press and see what's going on. All right, let's see. All right, so according to Inner City Press, it says U.S. jury has sent out a note that they have reached verdicts on count 2, 3, 4, and 5, but remain divided on count 1, the RICO. Let's see, let's go back. They are definitely going to be told to keep deliberating on count 1. It's just a question of how they'll be told, whether Allen charged now or later. So they're going to continue to keep debating. Now, I wanted to read some of these because what's always interesting to me is we have been going through this as a community, pretty much trying to figure out what's going on. So let's read what's going on now. According to this Twitter user, Ike Speaks, says that, oh, it sounds like a guilty verdict. Free says, if divided on the RICO, that means not guilty on the X trafficking. That's his guess. Hypothesis: if no RICO enterprise stays intact with its asset, Mama can still run to the shop, yay or nay. And then she's like, y'all, what are we thinking? So Sean Diddy Combs faces charges of racketeering, 2 counts of X trafficking, 2 counts of transportation. Yes, we're very familiar with that. And so someone asked, what are the jail time for those other 2 counts? Let's see what someone answered. Someone said 15 years to life. Somebody says time served. I think it's 5 to 10 years, isn't it? I think if he was not guilty on the rest, he'd be not guilty on the conspiracy. They believe he's free. Let's look and see. Nope, they don't have any update going on as we speak on there. Let's see. All right, so we've got a little bit of information. So we had that the court was adjourned. So let's go to PDD trial updates. Let me share this real quick. So as of 28 minutes ago, she shares, the jury has just sent another note to the judge. The lawyers have returned to the courtroom. She says that Janice Combs has entered. Sean Diddy Combs has been brought in. His lawyers are talking, but he's looking down, not paying any attention to him. Agnifilo has just handed over a note to Sean Combs. It was first with the prosecutors, but before being given to Agnifilo. And it says here, Judge, we received a note from the jury stating, we have reached a verdict on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5, but remain deadlocked on count 1 with jurors divided. How should we proceed? Prosecution Comey said they're preparing a modified Allen charge, but the defense did not want a partial verdict. The jury has to finish deliberations first. So let's look that up really quick. What is an Allen charge? All right. So according to Google, it says an Allen charge, also known as a dynamite charge, is a supplemental jury instruction given in some jurisdictions when a jury is unable to reach a unanimous verdict or a hung jury. The charge encourages jury to reconsider their positions and try to reach an agreement, but not at the expense of their conscientiously held belief. It's a controversial practice as it can be seen as putting undue pressure on jurors to abandon their views, particularly those in the minority. And the purpose of the Allen charge is to break the deadlock. A primary purpose of an Allen charge is to help a deadlocked jury overcome their impasse and reach a verdict. Reconsideration, it urges jurors to re-examine their opinions and consider their perspectives. Prevents mistrials by encouraging jurors to find common ground. The charge aims to reduce the number of cases requiring a new trial. And so the key elements of it is the emphasis on reaching a verdict, consideration of majority view, no yielding on convictions. Now, what are the controversies behind it? They feel like the controversies behind this would be coercion. Critics argue that Allen charges can exert undue pressure on juries, particularly those in the minority, leading to coerced verdicts. They said that there's unfair influence and variation. And so we will definitely see. So let's get back to what they're talking about. Judge Subranium has asked for emails from both sides, and there is a break. And Jewel says that, so that means they've reached a verdict on the X trafficking as well as the transportation to grave in the prostitution. It's left with the racketeering conspiracy. See, this is all in confusing. Now let's get back to the documentings. Let's get back here. Because here is where the I think when they wrote this, they were banking on a couple of things. And we're just looking at, because this is the verdict sheet. And again, count one, and this is the count one is the charge they're having issues with. And so it sounds like some people are saying that he's guilty and some people are saying that he's not guilty, right? Because again, there are predicate acts. And these are the predicate acts. Now, here again, they have pulled out two and separated them. And so you've got right up here, if you can see my cursor, it says acts involving the X trafficking, proved or not proved, acts involving the transportation for the prostitution, proved or not proved, right? Then because they have separated it out, it's almost like they're asking you not once, but twice, and now 3 and 4 times of the same thing, particularly of the transportation and the trafficking. They are asking for this in count 1. They're asking it in count 2, 3, 4, and 5. So so if you look at it 1, and we look at this as 2, and you look at the separate count 3. So they are asking 3 times about these particular acts. 3 times. Now, if we go back into not documentings. So I'm wondering where they're having the confusion. So are they saying that they're not guilty on the trafficking, or they find him guilty on the what are they looking at? This is so interesting. So have they found him not guilty? Have they found him guilty of the trafficking and the transportation? Have they found him not guilty of the trafficking and the transportation? Because if they found him guilty on those 2, then they've already proved the RICO. Because let's say that is scenario, it sounds like if it's in count 2 or count 3, 4, and 5, they don't want to have to put that in the RICO, because again, if he's found guilty of RICO, he loses everything. If he's found guilty of the trafficking and the transportation, he probably has to pay a huge fine. He probably has to go to jail for 5 to 10 years, and he's back at home. He's already been in jail since September of last year. So he has some time served on there. This is interesting. I'm willing to believe, this is what I'm willing to believe. I'm willing to believe that they have him on count 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is what I'm going to believe. But they do not want to apply that to the RICO. But let's get in here. They've got jury instructions. They've got 62 pages of the jury instruction. Let's see. All right, so let's go here. Count 2 charges that is from at least 2000 in or about 2009 up to the including or in or about 2018. The defendant committed trafficking of Cassandra Ventura by force, threats, or force of fraud or coercion, or any combination of such mean in violation of the act. Count 3 charges the same, but with the transportation. Count 4 charges that from at least in or about 2021 up into the included about 2024, the defendant committed trafficking of Jane by force, threats, or coercion. And then the same thing for the trafficking. You must return a separate verdict of not guilty or guilty for each count charge. Whether you find the defendant not guilty or guilty as one of the offense should not affect your verdict as to any other offense. You must analyze and evaluate the evidence separately as to each count. Before I instruct you on each of the counts, I will define 3 concepts of an attempt to commit a crime: aiding and abetting, commission of a crime, willfully causing a crime, and it continues to keep going. What I was trying to get to, they're doing the aiding and abetting. That's not what I want to get to. Here we go. Count 1 charges the defendant with conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act. All right. First, that in on or about 2004 through 2024, there was an agreement among 2 or more persons to conduct or participate in the affairs of an enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity. Second, that the racketeering enterprise or its activities would have affected or in fact affected interstate or foreign commerce. 3 and 4th, keep going. First, you have to prove that they have first an agreement to conduct or participate in the affairs of an enterprise. So, does he have a business? Is this business getting monies from interstate commerce and all these other different things? Yes, he does. That's been established. Let me get down here. These are the elements. So let me, as I continue to go, I'm going to check over here. Oh, we've got a couple of updates. All right, so let's share this tab. And I'm going to share this tab and let y'all go over what this particular update is talking about. Here's a count by count reminder of the charges. Count 1 carries the heaviest penalty with a maximum sentence of life in prison. Counts 2 and 4 have a minimum sentence of 15 years. So that's the trafficking. So if you get those 2 counts, that's 30 years. And count 3 and 5 carry a maximum sentence of 10 years. So he could get 20 years for those particular counts. So with the first one, he's that's life in prison. He can get life in prison. With the other ones, he can get 10 to 15 years per count. The judge is back on the bench addressing both prosecutors and defense attorneys' proposals on how to move forward. The government has asked for a modified Allen charge. The defense said it's too early for that, and they seem to want more gentle language. An Allen charge is a set of instructions that asks jurors to re-examine their own views and opinions in order to reach a decision. And you know that we went over that particular Allen charge and what it is as defined. But let me go through here really quickly. And if there's any update, it'll sure click up for us. I'm still looking. This is interesting, interesting, interesting. Now, I will tell you, as a juror, I am I don't know why they separated out the charges. If you have all of these predicate acts to prove under the RICO, I don't know why they just didn't go with that particular act. The government has alleged a special sentencing factor with respect to count one. If you find the defendant is not guilty of count one, then you do not need to consider this factor. If you find him guilty of count one, you must consider whether the government has proven this special sentencing factor. To prove this special sentencing factor, the government must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the trafficking of Cassandra or Jane was within the scope of the pattern of racketeering activities that the defendant agreed would be committed. I will provide you with instructions on the law governing the trafficking in connection with counts 2 and 4. You should follow the instructions here. Now, I will explain that counts 2 and 4 with charge trafficking by force, threats, force of coercion, or any combination is in violation of Title 18 Code Section 1591. Count 2 of the indictment charges that from 2009 up into 2018, the defendant committed trafficking by force, threat, or coercion. And this is in regards to Cassie Ventura. Count 4 is in respect to Jane. You must consider and render the verdict on each count separately. In order to prove the defendant guilty of trafficking by force, threats, or coercion, uh, and any combination of such mean the government must prove each of the following elements. First, the defendant knowingly recruited, enticed, harbored, transported, provided, obtained, or maintained a persons by any means. That the defendant knew or recklessly disregarded the fact that force, threats of force, fraud, or coercion, or any combination of such would be used to cause the alleged victim to engage in commercial X acts. And third, that the defendant's conduct was in or affecting interstate or foreign commerce. And it goes in on those. So the second element about the force and the fraud. Unanimity. The government has argued that the defendant committed trafficking with respect to Cassandra between 2009 and 2018 for count 2, or Jane 2021 to 2024 for count 4. Each count, to find the defendant guilty, you must be unanimous that the government has proved beyond a reasonable doubt that all elements of the charge. So let's see. Whew, this is a long charge. I know he took a long time. Mm, 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 mm. All right. So I didn't see what I was looking as I was skimming the document. So I'm going to go back over here. We got 2 new updates. Judge says simply telling the jury to keep delivering would be non-responsive. Judge Subramanian and the lawyers are discussing how they will respond to the jury's note that they're unable to reach a verdict on one of the 5 counts against Sean Diddy Combs. The judge said there's not much there in response to the defense's team proposed instruction. He's simply telling the jury to keep deliberating would be non-responsive to their note expressing unpersuadable opinion as to count one. Defense attorney Mark Agnofilia says he thinks this jury has been productive and efficient, so they don't need much encouragement to continue deliberating. Submarinian says the government proposal isn't really an Allen charge, but essentially reiterates the section of the jury's instruction regarding the duty to deliberate. An Allen charge is a set of instructions that asks the jury to re-examine their own views and opinions in order to reach a decision. Judge says he intends to tell the jury, I ask that you keep deliberating. He says, and recite some of the lines about deliberations from his instructions. So he's he's basically going to be non-responsive to them. So let's see where we are. Let's see what CNN's got going on. The jury's entered the courtroom. So as the jury gets into the courtroom, all right. So she's just basically going over what they said. So this means that they've reached a verdict on the trafficking as well as the transportation. We read that. So an Allen charge is a judge's push to break a jury deadlock. So that means that the judge had to use it to urge jurors to keep deliberating since they were yet to rule on count one. Diddy is not looking happy. He is quite tense. I imagine he would be, because it's a difference between 10 years and life. Judge, frankly, there is not much substance in the instructions on your side proposed. Just telling them to keep deliberating doesn't really address what they're saying. These sound like unpersuadable opinions in count one. Agnophilia, we're just cautious about pushing too hard. They're working seriously. Judge, understood. But the government's proposal isn't a true Allen charge either. It mostly restates the section. Ooh, y'all, I got a fruit fly that's just aggravating. Understood, but the government's proposal isn't a true Allen charge either. It's mostly restates the section of the original jury instruction about their duty to deliberate. Mm, mm, mm. Interesting, 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 interesting. So how far are we along? We are in the 30-minute mark, waiting for information to appear. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Yeah. Mm, mm, mm. All right, people. All right. So less than a minute ago. Oh, we got two. Judge Arun Subramanian has instructed the jury to continue deliberating after they sent a note saying that they have reached a verdict in 4 of the 5 counts. I received your note that you have reached verdicts on count 2 through 5, but not on count 1. I asked at this time that you keep deliberating, he told them. The jury has left the courtroom, and the judge said he's going to sit on the bench because they might get a note in the next few minutes. Baby. So what we'll do real quick, y'all, I am going to take a quick break, about 2-3 minutes. I'm going to come back and we're going to continue to go. So let me leave y'all with a little good music. Thank you so much. All right, I'm back. Let's see what the new update is. All right, so the jury sent a note back saying that they were advising they will continue deliberations on tomorrow, and so it's going to start at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. So, they are close. They are close, y'all. They are close. It's that count 1 that has them caught up. And again, I'm going to put the verdict slip up. And here it is. Count 1, racketeering conspiracy. How do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty? So that means that some of them believe that he is guilty and some of them believe that he is not guilty. So what's interesting to find out what it is that they are arguing about. Because apparently, if they have reached a verdict on count 2, 3, 4, and 5, what are they deliberating under count 1? Could it be the acts involving kidnapping? Could it be the acts involving arson? Could it be the acts involving bribery, witness tampering, forced labor? What is it, y'all? Trafficking, the transportation, or the distribution of the drugs? Because remember, earlier they had a question about the drugs. Interesting. I will tell you that I do appreciate that they are sitting down and they are wanting to sit and deliberate. This is the most that you can ask for people, particularly who are trying jury trials, who are the jury in the jury trials, because again, they are the judges of what's going on, and so it's going to be up to them. And a lot of people take this seriously. There are people who just are very serious about sending someone to prison in effect for the rest of their lives. So we will definitely see what's going on. So there is no more deliberating tonight. They're going to be back at it bright and early tomorrow, and they're going to deliberate, and we're going to see what is going on in regards to all of that, y'all. So stay tuned for that. It looks like I'll probably be doing a verdict watch stream tomorrow. Shout out to P. Diddy trial updates, and shout out to Inner City Press for keeping us abreast. Also, shout out to CNN Live Updates for keeping us abreast. The jury has been dismissed for the day, according to CNN. So we are definitely going to go over that. I'm going to be looking at other people, and particularly those people who are going to be doing lives that have been in the courtroom, to kind of figure out what they're thinking about. Here is my opinion. I think I have always said that I think the transportation for the prostitute, I think that he is guilty on that. I think that they have given a guilty verdict for counts. Let me get back over here with this. I think that there is a guilty verdict for count 3 and count 5. I think that there are guilty verdicts on count 3 and count 5. I don't know if they are going to find count 2 or count 4 guilty. They may have struggled with that. I'm going to say that that was not guilty. And I think in count 1, I think that they're playing that split the baby. Hey, we've got him guilty on 1 count. I don't know if we want to find him guilty on that. And so it's a matter of if they feel like they have proven or not proven the kidnapping, the arson, the bribery, the witness tampering, the forced labor, the trafficking, and the distribution of the drugs. So that's what it seems like they're having the most issues on. But we will find out. Y'all, again, I do apologize for just coming back and forth with lives. That is not my purpose to inundate you like that. But I did see that they had come back with some the jury had come back saying that they had verdicts. So we're going to see if they have come up, and this is just, again, this is my opinion. If they have found them guilty of the transportation, which is also under that RICO Act, then they have one more to find him guilty of proven or not proven in order for him to be guilty under the RICO. So we will see. We will definitely see. All right, people, we do this every week. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video if you care. Y'all, we may get a verdict before the 4th of July weekend, because I think they have all day tomorrow. And I think they have a half a day on Wednesday. Well, they said that they do their own schedule, so they may do a half a day on Wednesday, but they've got all day to figure out how they want to do this. So we're going to see how they work this out. All right. Please tell a friend, tell a kin, tell a coworker, tell that heifer that you can't stand that I'm over here making these videos. And as always, people, bye-bye.